Modern DC and anime. Oh dear. Justice League and RWBY, Superheroes and Huntsmen Part 1. Good God, that's too long of a title. So, everyone on this channel knows I don't like modern DC, and their animated direct-to-DVD movies have been, let's be fair and call them garbage. And I am not an anime fan at all, I just don't like the genre. So, this was not exactly high on my anticipated movies for the year list. But again, I'm pretty sure I just committed myself to watching every comic book movie every year, so that's why I ended up watching this. And the trailers didn't help. It didn't look very enticing, and yeah, this wasn't very good. It wasn't a complete dumpster fire, but it still wasn't good. Now, the basic plot of this is apparently the Justice League members are brought to the universe of RWBY, and oh, that's about it, really. They're brought to their universe, and they fight monsters and try to find a way back. That's the entire plot of this movie. Sort of, but we'll get to that in a bit. Now, the first problem I have with this movie is that none of the Justice League members act like adults. And the problem is that they're, turned into teenagers here, but they only look that way. They're supposed to be the same character, so a lot of them just come across as kind of obnoxious. And I don't particularly like the lineup they brought in. Now, the basic ones are all here. Superman, Batman. Batman's a little odd in this movie, but I'll get back to that. Wonder Woman, Flash, even though his getup, though, because, their uniforms look different here. His almost kind of looks like Impulse's outfit. And Cyborg. And then we have some other ones. We have Green Lantern, and when I heard that, I thought, oh, cool. But which one are they gonna do? Is it gonna be Hal Jordan, Jon Stewart, Guy Gardner? No, it's Jessica Cruz. Of all of these cool Green Lanterns, you went with the 7th human Green Lantern, and one of the most uninteresting versions of the character. Why? There's also Vixen for some goddamn reason. Is that all of them? Yeah, that's all of them. So, not an especially strong lineup for the most part. And another problem I have in terms of characters is the RWBY characters are annoying as hell. Most of them, at least. The one who's traveling with Bruce, this one right here on the poster, the one in the white right here, she's probably the best one of them because she's not obnoxious and she actually gets shit done. The other characters are so goddamn irritating. Anytime the Justice League members, come up with a battle plan or a battle strategy or something, they bitch and moan about the fact that this isn't your universe, we don't have to listen to you. It's like, I'm sorry, would you rather die than listen to them? Because that's what you're implying here. And it wasn't just it was a small conflict, which it should have just been a small conflict that was resolved quickly. They do it through the entire movie. They bitch and whine anytime the Justice League members open their mouth and come up with a plan or a battle strategy or anything. They whine about it in these really high-pitched voices too. So it's really so their voices are kind of irritating too. All the cast members they got for the Justice League are fine. I still don't know what is up with the new obsession of giving Cyborg hair now. For some reason, Super Pets gave him an afro, and this one gave him dreads for some goddamn reason. I don't know. Now, I've already mentioned that the plot is paper thin. And I want to get into spoilers a little later so I can talk about the ending and what's really going on and everything, and something else that kind of annoyed me, but I'll get to that in a second. The animation looks okay. It doesn't look fantastic, it could be improved, but it definitely looks better than a lot of the other films we've got, Green Lantern, Beware My Power, or Legion of Superheroes, or The Dune That Came to Gotham. They all had very stilted and lifeless animation. Here, the movements are fluid, and the colors are vibrant, and the action sequences, at first, are kind of cool to watch, but I'll get back to that in a second, but the characters don't emote that much. And they team up different characters in this, and they don't do a very good job of having the characters bounce off of one another. Like, they have this one blonde dude and a Green Lantern, and I think they try to build up relationships here, but they don't do a very good job, because each one of them is on screen together for about 10 minutes apiece, like, on their own, and they don't accomplish shit. Like, there's an entire subplot to this movie about this blonde dude and the Green Lantern trying to find her ring. And honestly, you could cut this and not miss much. And then there's Batman and this one chick here. That storyline was interesting at first, because they're actually trying to figure out what the hell's going on, while the rest of the characters are fucking around fighting these damn monsters and trying to find Bruce. Unfortunately, they also throw in, like, some almost conflict where it's like, oh, maybe Bruce will stay here. No, he's fucking not. I knew he wasn't going to. That was a stupid-ass red herring. The action sequences, like I said, they're cool to watch at first. They have good. The motions are fluid, the animation is decent, the colors are vibrant, and the choreography isn't stilted bullshit where it's like someone's just standing there waiting to get hit, like Green Lantern Beware My Power. So at least there's that. But there becomes a point. There's so much fighting in this movie that I was just kind of checked out by the end. Nothing was interesting to watch anymore. None of it was cool. It was the same shit repeated. The action got repetitive, I guess. But now I want to talk about the last 15-20 minutes. So this part of the review will be spoiler filled, so if you haven't seen the movie and want to, I'd suggest go watch it on like Redbox or something. Don't buy this. I'm already gonna give you that verdict. Don't buy this. Just rent it on Redbox if you absolutely want to see this. But anyway, so the big twist is that Kilgore is the actual villain who like brought them here, and he's been possessing Barry Allen this entire time. And he brought them into some kind of virtual world, so apparently we're ripping off Superman 64. Of all the DC properties to rip off, you rip off one of the worst video games of all time. And I'm not just talking worst DC video games or worst superhero video games. You rip off what is widely considered to be one of, if not the worst, video game ever created. Why? Whatever. And also the fact that he's possessing Barry Allen, you didn't need that. You could have cut that and not miss anything. And the setup for the reveal where Batman figures it out, or was it Superman? I can't remember. It was, like, you could have cut that. Like, there was no setup to this. There was absolutely no indication whatsoever that Barry was being possessed or at some point. Or at least I would know. Maybe he was acting out of character. I wouldn't know, because I don't know any of these versions of the characters. Because these are new versions of these characters. So they eventually beat Kilgore, of course they do, and they go home. And then the RWBY characters wake up with like some kind of like visors, like VR visors, I guess. And they start talking about how someone from their world was working on this as well. And at first I thought, really, this movie is going to end on a cliffhanger for the next season of this show, really? And then I remembered something. And look where I'm pointing. I forgot this was a two-parter. Because of course it fucking is. Everything is a two-parter nowadays. Everything has to set up for a sequel. And I've seen no announcements about part 2, or if part 2 will even be made. If it goes off of what the Batman The Long Halloween movie did, it'll be probably sometime next year is when we'll get part 2, or maybe later this year, who knows. Because I know we have at least one more direct-to-DVD DC film, and it's Justice League War World, which is part of that Tomorrowverse, which is, again, contained Beware My Power and Legion of Superheroes, two god-awful movies, so I can only assume how bad that's going to be. So this was just fucking lame. This wasn't even, like, aggressively awful until the last, like, 15 minutes, because that twist and that final fight were dumb as hell. But until that point, this was just an aggressively mediocre ass movie. You could not get more painfully average than this movie. So, and again, and it's not like painfully average, like, oh, it's like middle of the road. It is painfully average. Like, it's not shitty enough to give an F, but it's not good enough to give a fresh score either. So that's all I got for Justice League and RWBY Superheroes and Huntsmen Part 1. For fuck's sake, they needed to cut that title down. Maybe cut out the Superheroes and Huntsmen part. I don't know. I don't care. I'm gonna give this movie a D. Thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe for more reviews like this. Tell me what you thought of this movie, because I don't know what the general consensus is going to be. If you like the show, you'll probably like this movie, but I've never seen an ounce of the show, so I didn't know what the fuck was going on, and I just didn't care either. And that was something else I didn't mention, is that the fact that this movie kind of assumes you've seen the anime, and I have not, so I had no idea what any of this shit was, so yeah, that's another knock against it. But yeah, whatever. I'm curious what you guys thought of this movie, and yeah, I will see y'all next time.